like literally luck favors the prepared. Like if you are prepared for something, you'll be lucky. Luck doesn't happen just by unenhlanhla. People who are always lucky are always prepared. They've done the work, and then you get lucky. Like, oh shit, but it's only because you've done the work.
From Cnr Juta De Beer, imini nomsindisi umvelisi Melis Wesidwe, formerly known as Wazi Madonsela, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture but also formalize the street hustle.
Cnr Juta De Beer, special edition, umsindisi wesiko umvelisi ngwana. Uyena umfana onokintelezi ne-sunlight. Malcom Majatladi.
Yeah.
From Refuse, a designer, businessman, creative, fly dude, consistently doing something.
Yeah.
You're a global citizen at the stage.
Yeah.
You're stamping all the time. How does it feel to look back at your journey in first year when you said you're going to study fashion and the person you've become now?
Like I always look back and be like, I never thought I would do it. I never thought I'd be here, you know. It's been an amazing journey, bro. Like I've been and also inspired by the steps that I've been taking, you know, from the first year where I actually failed fashion. My first year I failed, it's crazy, you know. And I picked up my socks because my mom was just like, dude, you're failing, you know, and I really wanted you to study something different, you know, so she wanted me to do something, obviously, more engineering side of things, you know, because she's an engineer. And I was just like, Mom, I want to do fashion. It's my passion, you know. From the cool, I've always liked dressing up, but I'd always liked the idea of, you know, clothing, and I thought I knew it until I actually got to school. When I got to school, it was very hard, bro, because I came in there with the mentality that I know this thing, you know, it's easy, and I failed, you know, dismally, bro, you know. So, and then my first year that I actually did well in, I was like one of the top students at school, you know, I did super well, and that's when I met Mini.
Shout out Mini.
Yeah, shout out to Mini, that's my business partner. I met Mini at school. We really started like Refuse, started working together, you know, and who would have thought from that time when we were like hustling in university, our only currency was marks. And then right now, like our own like currency is like, you know, making proper clothes and making a living out of it, like revenue out of it, you know. So it's been an amazing journey.
You start this brand in varsity, you start this brand in Durban, the brand grows, you start doing pop-ups. Why do clothing brands do pop-ups? I guess that's, it sounds like a stupid question.
Yeah.
Because it's like in the world of the digital age, why would you do a pop-up when you can just deliver it to Lwazi in Pepega for $100?
Yeah, I think pop-ups is also to give like a different experience, a customer experience. You know, for a person who doesn't know about Refuse in Joburg, we can do a pop-up where they get to experience the brand. But I think more than anything, it's finances. You know, it's quite expensive to be like, okay, I want to go to Joburg and open a store. Because if that was the case, there wouldn't be pop-ups. We'd just open a store. But pop-ups also it allows you to test that, okay, do I actually have a market in Joburg? Do I have a market in Cape Town? Do I have a market in Durban? And that's how we also kind of like started like carving that, oh, actually our market is either Joburg or Cape Town. It's not in Durban. I mean, like
that's crazy because you guys start the brand.
Yeah, we're from Durban.
You're
but
like offspring of Babs.
Yeah, those like shout out to Mshegu.
Like, how do you feel like that's not your market? Because everyone's always like, my hometown is where they really come.
I think maybe it's because of the product offering. Like, obviously, we always set ourselves as like upmarkets. The prices are not the same, you know, compared to all the other brands. We're selling a t-shirt at 1,000 Rand. It's not easy for a person from Durban to buy that, you know. So from the word go, we've been very strict with where we want to position our brand. And that kind of like paid off to where we are right now, because it's always been the vision that it's upmarket. If you can't afford it, dog. But, you know, just work hard to come. And I think that's what Refuse stands for. It's like if I had to like explain the actual consumer, it's a person who actually loves himself. Like, he knows I'm dope, I work hard, I want to get to the top, and I'm trying to offer that guy some sort of like confidence with that through clothing.
Refuse represents that guy. It's a high-end brand. What was the move with Mr. Price? Because now the price is a bit lower. The distribution is a bit high.
Yeah, so with the brand, like, because obviously we started in school, and Refuse kind of like was birthed through thrift. You know, we used to do like a lot of upcycling. We used to like buy clothes close to nothing. So the Mr. Price thing was mainly based on that, where you kind of like, it's almost like a thrift shop. Like, it's cheap, you know, for brand accessibility, you know. But that's just about Refuse. It did wonders for us, you know. That specific move opened a lot of doors for Refuse, which is why we're still here, you know. I think if it didn't happen, then we would be talking a different story. But then it really did also open our minds in terms of stock, in terms of how we kind of like plan to sell, like in terms of the business side of things. It opened up our eyes that, oh man, actually, you can actually make a living out of this thing. If I can sell 2,000 of just one T-shirt at Mr. Price, of Refuse, just written Refuse, fuck man, that means I have a proper business. I think it was a test that how big can you take your business? And the testimony of, we did 18 styles, 2,000 units of that.
Per style or overall?
18 styles, 2,000 units of each 18.
Of those 18 styles? God dang.
Do you understand? So it flooded the market.
And then it sold out.
Yeah, but then what happens to a kid, Ekasi, who got a T-shirt at a cheaper price, and he's growing, and it's like, oh man, now he's studying, he's being followed in the brand. It's like, oh, I want to wear that brand when I grow up, when I have the money. And now he goes into university, he starts working professionally. You know, now he's building up to that. He got introduced to the brand via Mr. Price, but he also gets to grow within, you know, the brand, which is one thing that I've also been seeing from like people who didn't know, who didn't afford it. Now they can come and be like, oh, I want that. I want that. So it was a great move for us. Yeah, it did well for us.
What's your role at Refuse?
I have so many roles.
Because there's partners involved.
Yeah, so like I deal with design. I'm a designer and I do product development. So like, how do you hand over your design work to production? That's like the most important thing. I think a lot of people don't get to like understand that part, you know, how the process works from like product to samples and all of that, you know, doing it proper. You know, I'm not saying we are OEMs because you want this T-shirt to be, you want to see a sample, but like doing it proper to like tech packing, you know, like the actual handover, I deal with that, and then production, you know. So we, fortunately enough that we have that in-house now where we do our own production. We don't buy T-shirts anymore from like in print. We kind of like hand make our T-shirts from scratch now.
Yeah.
Our knitwear is now produced in Madagascar, you know. So like we kind of like also open up our brand like to different types of, you know, different offerings. You know, now we started doing socks and doing caps, you know. So that's part of what I do there, where I'm like, oh, what else do we need? This guy, what can I offer him? I want to offer him something to wear at the office. I want to offer him something to wear when he's with his boys. And I want to offer him something when he's at the beach, wants to wear a cap and whatever, shorts, you know. So I really want this guy to be a ref boy, where he's like really, really proud of where he comes from and the brands. And the Refuse represents where you actually come from. Like our last pop-up with the men at Kukwana, which was home, you know, like, where are you from? Why, like, I'm more about that, like, Upumapi. So it represents that, it has that home feel to it.
You grow with your partner, you grow the business. What's it been like, the reception of everything now? Because not only are you a designer, but you guys are designers who showcase overseas. What's that experience like for the kid at home who doesn't even know that, yo, Monday you can go to Milan and showcase?
Yeah, it's been amazing because even how it happened, like we used to just. I remember our first time showcasing. I was just like, yo, man, because I created like this beautiful collection at school. Like third year, obviously, you create like a range. Yeah. I created this range that won me awards, you know. So I was just like, oh man, how do I take this and show it to the world? I think the world deserves to know this. And I remember, shout out to Ricky. I remember like this was one of the people that I texted because I had met him and he really fucked with it. I was like, yo, man, can you please help me out, you know? This is what I'm trying to do. And I was like, yeah, pull up, you know? So also like him believing in me at that point, I was like, no, actually, let's go, you know? So I signed up for like SA Fashion Week, competition. We didn't win that year, 2021. Beautiful garments, like amazing, you know? And I was just like, no, man, it doesn't stop there, you know? We'll enter the competition next year again, you know? Because like, the refuse guy is very like, he's like that. He doesn't quit. You know, he's like a pusher. He wants to like take over the world. So I was just like, no man, let's just go again. And we won it. And that competition opened up a lot of doors. I mean, like it got us this Mr. Price collab. It got us an opportunity to go to Milan. By the time we got to Milan, we met people who opened up doors for us that side too, you know. So it's like first time being in Milan, I couldn't believe it because like, dude, I'm from Soweto. I'm a kid from Soweto, born and bred, grew up in KZN. But like, I would have never thought in my family, I was probably the first person to even travel. You know, I was telling my mom, I was like, yo, man, you actually going, you know? So it was an amazing experience, you know? And then, I mean, like, it wasn't my first time traveling. I feel like I'll just like touch base on my career as a fashion designer. You know, I was fortunate enough, like after university, I got an opportunity to work instantly to learn about clothing. I feel like a lot of designers never do that.
Oh, yeah, you were at Edcon.
Yeah. But I started at Johnson Workwear as a garment designer, and then I moved over to Edgar's. So I was there for like 3-4 years where I spent my time as a training design. So that's when my third year there, I got to travel, you know. So it all happened last year actually. When my manager was just like, Malcolm, you're really good at this thing. You have a good eye. I think you should go with the team. And it was like 3 countries, 7 days, Netherlands, Germany, and London. It was amazing. And when I got back, I was like, yo, man, I really love that feeling of being there, you know, and how people treat you when you're there and the trends that are there, you know. I got back, I had learned how people wear clothes that side, how they value South African designers. So when I got back, I even bought some samples. I was like, yo, I want to buy, I mean, it was expensive, but I was like, I want to buy certain things that I can come back and be like, yo, I want to kind of like look at this garment and see how I can unpack it and create a garment that looks like this and like that's this quality. Because I'm also a consumer of clothes. I'd never want to wear trash clothes, you understand? So when I give my customer clothes, I want them to be really, really proud of what they're wearing. So part of those travels opened up my mind. I was like, oh man, this is how you kind of like be open-minded in terms of, you know, designing, you know. So that type of environment opened me up in terms of why I actually loved traveling. I was just like, okay, cool. And then after when I resigned, now my focus is just refuse. And then, oh, I'm traveling through refuse again. Now this thing is becoming an international thing, you know. Like I'm becoming a person that's traveling, but it's only because I get to see what they're doing that side. And I come back this side and I do it the South African way. Yeah. And now I'm relatable to them, you know. And then that's when I was like, okay, I want to do more of that. And then I ended up like interning at Puma for like, you know, 2 months, which was really amazing too, like amazing experience.
Puma in Germany at that
Puma
point.
in Germany.
You can't just say.
Yeah, where I got to like do like some footwear projects. some apparel. It was really great to also understand the culture and also understand what an international designer kind of like does, you know, because a lot of us also kind of like learn along the way. Sometimes you wing it, but like I really want to know how to do it, like proper, like from like how do you literally do this at a higher level, you know? And I was fortunate enough, as I said, when I was working, I worked also with buyers. So in refuse, I'm also a buyer. You understand? In refuse, I'm also a planner. You know, and those are like little things that people don't get to like know because you've never been in a corporate space. And I was fortunate enough to actually like be in that space and actually like learn so much from there and also apply it in my business.
Yeah. You go overseas, you start taking your brand overseas. What do you want for your brand the next year? If you were able to dictate your own future.
Mainly like the main reason why we actually go overseas is not for fun, by the way. It's not to like do fashion shows and whatever. It's to actually get people to stock our brand overseas. So my goal is if I could have 3 to 5 people by next year or the next year who actually sell refuse. I supply them with refuse. They buy refuse and then they sell it for us that side. That's my idea. I've always seen it as an international brand and a South African brand on an international level. Understand? So I'm not saying South Africans shouldn't, like, I feel like the fact that we've been doing these trips, going internationally, it's kind of like put us in a space where even South Africans are proud to wear it. Like, oh man, like that brand, like they representing us that side. I feel like shout out to Laduma because he's doing that on another level.
Laduma, come to the show.
You know, shout out to him. I had a conversation with him and he really loved our stuff and he was like, you guys are next, you know. So I really took that serious, like, oh man, brazo.
Speaking of Laduma, because the one time I dropped out, I was studying the same course.
Yeah.
He studied at some stage.
Yeah.
How important why are we not seeing streetwear have its own textiles? Because like with Laduma, for people who are not really into fashion like that, it's like the pattern, he has his own patterns / the textiles. Why does streetwear not have that?
Yo, it's a hard one. I feel like streetwear is like fast, like it changes, you know, whereby I think even with refuse, we still a streetwear brand, but then we also trying to move away from that space because it's like a trendy, and we want to be a brand that represents South Africa. I mean, like on the streetwear community, the reason why is because streetwear consumers just wear like t-shirts. Like the actual consumers are not people who are spending 5,000 rand, 10,000 rand on local streetwear. But if you're offering that person something that represents who they come from, like where you actually come from, it's different, you know. Yeah, so I feel like with a lot of streetwear brands, like it's great. Also, South Africa doesn't have the facilities to create your own textiles, as you said. You know, Laduma is fortunate he has that. You know, we don't have the facilities. We don't have like even fabrics and stuff like that. You always have to go to China. Even production have to go to China, whatever. You know, so I feel like we need to also do more in that space, not just streetwear. I feel like just in the design space of South Africa, the fashion designers, we need to be doing a lot of textile, developing our own textiles in the long run. It might not happen now, but it might happen in the long run because South Africa used to be known as a textile place before, but then at the moment, it's not. It's only like, I can count them, like probably like 5 people who actually develop their own textiles in South Africa, you know? So that question is a tough one. It's unfair to just put it on streetwear. I think it's overall everyone.
Fashion industry,
yeah.
You guys start pulling your stock back from other distributors locally.
Yeah.
and you move into creating your own online platform.
Yeah.
What was the move for that? Because you said the pop-ups are for us to get the look, the feel.
Yeah.
Now these shops were giving us the chance to get the look and the feel.
Yeah.
Why is the move back to online?
So now we're realizing that, oh man, there's a gap, you know, in the online space that people are actually not focusing on. Like the e-commerce space, right now people who are actually killing it, you look at like your Superbalist, you look at like in South Africa, your Superbalist, your Take-A-Lot, your Bash. Man, there's a lot of stuff that go in behind, you know, the online space. And I'm fortunate enough that I've been learning that, you know, how to do like digital marketing, how to push product into people. By the time you open your phone, it's like refuse, like, oh man, you understand? I'm not over flooding it. I'm selling you a product. I don't want to jinx it. I'm not trying to be cool on Instagram. I'm really here to sell you a product. I'm here to tell you a story about where we come from and actually sell you a product. So that's when everything changed. I'm not really trying to like I'm trying to push a cool brand, whatever, but then I will do it in a business manner. You understand? I'm not gonna do it like in the streetwear community where you sell like in the street, like that's the thing with streetwear. The reason why you do a lot of pop-ups is because of streetwear. It resonates with the streets.
You come from corporate, you come from school.
Yeah.
Firstly, you're not doing none of this by chance. Because you qualified, you've worked and you have the experience and you've traveled abroad to understand this thing.
Yeah.
What are the channels of distribution if I'm trying to sell product? As a kid who's making product, I've figured out some way to make clean product, quality product. I know how to package it. How can I distribute this product in the various ways that you know of? Because on this platform, we're trying to empower people to being able to cut that distance that took you a couple of years.
Yeah. And I'm glad that obviously I'm always about uplifting, you know, what can another person learn from me? So the most important thing I would say is that, like, have an identity of your product first. Because the thing, you can print a t-shirt, bro, you understand? Why are people buying it? Why? Once you get there, so we work so hard to get to a point where I know why people buy refuse. Yeah. You understand? But it takes a very long time getting to that point where you're like, why do people want this? Do you understand? So now we kind of like working towards, okay, these people want this because of this. But how can we grow that, you know? So I feel like with the youngsters, bro, they should take some time to actually learn the fashion business. Go work, go learn, bro. Like,
but how do we distribute it?
Okay, in the distribution, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because now we have the product.
That's the thing.
I went to scale, I made it. How do I sell it? Where do I sell it?
Okay, for example, a space like Fashion Week for me was a space where they provided trade shows, and within that trade show there are people that come in and buy. So that was like our first introduction to like proper selling clothes, because before we would just sell through Instagram. That's a starting point. You can do a shoot, hey guys, DM me, blah, 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 you know. But like sometimes people want to see look and feel. How does it look like? How does it feel like? So kind of like partnering up with like events like Cotton Fest. So they sometimes like call on designers, hey guys, if you're from this place, sign up, like there's a competition, maybe 5 people win or whatever. But it also gives Intuan an opportunity to be like, oh man, I'm a part of this. I can stock 50 t-shirts, and I like how Cotton Fest works because they loan you 10K. Like, yo, here's 10K, and we want it back. So you don't have an excuse of saying, I can't do this pop-up because I don't have money. So you get to have that 10K, and it's a platform that people don't, it's like, whoever came up with that, it's so smart, because when we did it, we made more than 10K. You understand? But I like the concept of, I'm giving you this money, but I want it back. So on the day, whatever that you sell is through their card. So whatever money that you make, it goes straight into them. and if it's more, they pay you back. So those type of platforms, they offer like the youth those type of opportunities. Just be out there as a youth, post your stuff on social media. There's always someone watching. That's like the start of distribution. And then reach out to like online stores, reach out to like, I don't know how many times I've been rejected, dog. I'm used to rejection. Like, hey, I would like to put my stuff in your store. I don't get a response. I move on to another person. Or I go back to the drawing board. Why don't they want my product? I need to work hard. I need to do something different with this. I need to make it more appealing, you understand? So there's a lot of things that go into like getting to the right product where people can be like, oh, actually, I want to buy that. And then you can worry about distribution, but you need to get the customer first. It's important to get to know who is buying this thing before you worry about selling 100. You can have 100 t-shirts or 100 caps or whatever, but then if you don't know who you're selling it to, then you might sell it to the wrong people who might not buy. But it's good to know who you're selling it to.
How have you guys improved your digital marketing?
Okay, cool. So Umini, my partner, he handles that side of the world where we do like a lookbook, professional photography. We invest a lot of money into that type of space where a person, even you, when you're like, I want to buy this t-shirt, but because it's presented in such a way, it's like, oh man, I really want to buy it. So we do like professional shoes, lookbooks, and then our online space too, like our website. We invest a lot of money into like building that type of user-friendly platform where a person can come in and be like, click, I want to buy, click, I want to buy. Also kind of like doing the marketing side of things where it's like either sponsored ads or whatever, because people need to see your product. Like, I don't want to be too cool for selling product. I meet people all the time, they're like, oh man, I didn't even know this thing. You understand? But then if you start now using social media marketing, it's there. If you start using it very wisely, you get to reach out to a broader audience. So that's one thing that we started doing right now, and I feel like it's working for us. So we need to do more of that, So yeah.
What's your word to the youth?
Sorry?
What's your word to the youth?
To the youth, be yourself, bro. One thing, like, be yourself, work hard, and believe in God, dog, because there are endless opportunities out there, and you're just waiting for someone to grab. They are there, bro. I got here because of endless opportunities. They were just there, and I was just like, oh man, like literally luck favors the prepared. Like, if you are prepared for something, you'll be lucky. Luck doesn't happen just by people who are always lucky are always prepared. They've done the work, and then you get lucky. Like, oh shit, but it's only because you've done the work. So I always tell Idwana to be prepared and work hard, and you get lucky and your time will come.
What's the one question you've always wanted to be asked as a designer, as a business owner?
Yo, one question that I wanted to be asked.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a tough one. Yo, okay, give me a second. How do you come up with this shit? Like, how do you come up with this? But like some people don't ask them. Like, I like telling the story behind like design process and like creating an experience for a customer. So yeah, what inspires you? Why do you come up with these things? You should have asked me that question. I feel like it's a part of me. Like, I grew up in KZN, and I had learned so many things in that space, and I love the culture. And I met Uminentle, who's also my best friend, and I spent so much time learning about the culture, learning, oh, this is beautiful. And then my dad was a tour guide. So I grew up in a home where there was like a lot of tourist items inside, like artistic stuff all the time. So that also like broadened my mind in terms of color, in terms of, oh, I used to take whatever that he would bring and make shirts out of it and be like, I didn't even know this thing could be a shirt, you know? So what used to inspire me is like my surroundings, but like also knowing where I come from is ideal. Like I never want to lose myself in the space where I'm at. Even when I go overseas, I'm proud. I will tell you, I'm from Soweto, but you know, this is where I come from. Yeah.
Mr. Majatladi, Malcom.
Shout out to you, bro.
Refuse. I refuse. Thank you for coming to the pod.
Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, my bro.